Okay, so this is a book called A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. And it's about a family of a girl and some twins, and then a boy, and a mom and dad. And the dad...
It's set in modern times.
Yeah, it's set in modern times. And you don't... At the beginning of the book, you know that the dad is gone, but you don't know what happened to him, and you don't figure out what happened to him until I think the end. But, this...
Well, 3/4 of the way.
Well, this lady comes up, or shows up at their house, and she's like all weird and is wearing a million clothes and stuff. And she tells the main character, Meg, and her little brother, Charles
Wallace,
that they need to go find their dad. And so they go with her, and this boy that they know, Calvin, goes with them too, to find their dad.
Okay, so we're all sitting here because I said that we need to do a book on a book review on A Wrinkle in Time, and you guys all said
that's the best book ever.
That's the best book ever. So, why do you love it so much?
I don't know, it's good.
What's good about it? Why would other kids want to read it?
I don't know, it's interesting. It's kind of cool, like, at the end, like, the biggest thing, I don't know, it's kind of just, like, really interesting, like, different, like, what the bad thing is, and, like, how it, like, hurts you or whatever. It's, like, super interesting to, like, think about.
So it's kind of science fiction-y because they, like, travel in time to other planets, and Mrs. Who and Mrs. What's-It and Mrs. Which are the ones that help them.
Mrs. Which.
And you don't really know what they are, and they kind of take on this human form, but they're not human, and it's kind of cool because you can see the symbolism of them kind of as angels or as the Godhead, helping these kids to find their dad. They make friends with Calvin. He goes along, so it's these three kids kind of on this quest to try to figure out where their dad is and why he's gone and fix the situation. So it's an interesting story, but there's lots of interesting stories in the world. So why do you specifically like this book so much? We've had family discussions on it. Some of these guys have read it multiple times.
There's a lot of symbolism in it, like what you were saying, and it's also excellent writing. And it's not just like Twilight or something. It's actually good writing.
What are some of the other symbols you remember?
I don't remember.
Isn't the bad thing supposed to be temptation or something?
Okay, good.
Yeah, and the way they defeat it is with love and stuff.
So there's all these profound themes about
also
courage and love.
One part in the book, they're naming all these great people that did great things in the world, and they say Jesus and all these, like Plato and Aristotle, and
Leonardo da Vinci.
They just like name all these cool people, and I don't know.
Also, it kind of talks about agency too, because when they arrive on this planet, they're like totally under control, and there's such a system, they can't even, like, it's kind of like the Giver, you know? So they can't, like, do anything, and if you break the pattern or whatever, you're like gonna die or whatever. So it's like kind of cool, like shows how pointless life is without agency.
Yeah.
There's also one of the women that helps them can't communicate in English really well, and so she quotes all the time. She quotes all these really incredible authors from the great books. And it shows
she even quotes in different languages.
L'Engle was a strong Christian. She was heavily influenced by Lewis. He was heavily influenced by her. They both kind of they quote scripture a handful of times in here. And L'Engle was a librarian and had an unbelievable education. In fact, I think she's the one that went to a girls' liberal arts school when she was in college. And she always wanted to write. She had a few children. She would read her stories to them. This, I think, is her best work. There's a series to this. Was the series as good as this original one?
It wasn't as good, but it was still really good.
Yeah. So there's a couple ones that follow up on this one that are probably worth reading.
A Wind in the Door, and Swiftly Tilting Planets.
Yeah. There's a lot of meat in here. It's an easy read, like language-wise, it's easy to read, right?
Yeah, kind of like C.S. Lewis.
Yeah. But then, like Narnia or something.
Yeah.
But then it's deep. like these guys were saying, there's symbolism, there's all these, and of course we love to discuss books. And so this is one of the books that we could discuss over and over again, and we could find more cool stuff in it, more cool stuff in it.
I also like how everyone knows what they're supposed to do, even if they don't do it. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They know that that's what they're meant to do, and you know, like
how Meg discovers, oh, it's my job to go and fix the situation.
Yeah, even though she thought that her dad would fix everything. But then,
I've used this in classes to discuss responsibility. I think it's a fabulous one for discussing the freedom that comes through personal responsibility, because that's one of the central messages that Meg liberates herself and actually ends up liberating her family, because she finally stops blaming and is able to take full responsibility for what she knows is hers to take care of. And it's a really profound, beautiful message that I really believe is true to human nature. Avery's finishing it up. What do you like about it so far?
I like how, because Mrs. What's-it, which is the person who came in at the beginning with all of her stuff on.
Uh-huh.
That's what they call her.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of weird.
Uh-huh.
But they tell them they're on this, different planet, because it's all magical and stuff. And Mrs. What's-it, she tells them no matter what, stay together, and it's really tempting to, just go off by yourself. So if you need to, you can hold hands or whatever. So then they're like, okay, so that seems easy enough. But as they go through, like, the town and stuff, there's, like, no agency at all. Like, there's rhythm to, like, bouncing the balls.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's exactly the same.
Everybody's, like,
it's one of those dystopia books that talk about, and there's the cloud. One of the things that's cool about it, too, is there's a cloud over this planet that they go to, and the same kind of cloud is over Earth. And she's kind of making this parallel message about temptation overcoming and evil growing in the world.
Oh yeah, and
what
it's not
means to fight evil.
It's not just like the cloud that's over the earth. They were saying all the different things that are actually happening in the earth, how there's so much temptation and how everyone is giving into it.
Yeah.
And it's not just, oh, it's dark and evil. It's actually real life. This is actually on the earth.
Yeah, and it's cool too, because one of the things I absolutely love about this book is that the heroine is an everyday person. We don't do that a lot in modern literature. Often the heroes or the really interesting people in the book have like superhuman powers. They have magical powers, that kind of thing. That's not the case in A Wrinkle in Time, and I love that. It's also not the case in like the Narnia books and other books. There are things that are magical or scientific, but Meg's just like you and I. She's just a kid that's struggling at school, that feels backwards and awkward and ugly, and she saves the day. She's the heroine, and she fights evil with her love. And that's a beautiful, beautiful message, and I think it's one of the things that kind of like another one of our favorites is Wizard of Oz. Same kind of message. Everyday, average individuals who are able to overcome difficulties, and it kind of, I don't know, it's kind of empowering like that, right? Like I could be like that. I could be the one that does the thing that fights it, and fighting temptation is a huge central message. Yeah. So anything else that you love?
Like with the main thing that they're fighting at the
end?
Yeah, it's all totally temptation in there. It's really hard to not get pulled in there.
Yeah.
But isn't it that like, oh never mind, that might give something away.
Yeah. I keep thinking it's something.
Because you had an insight since we were talking about it?
Yeah.
So they're there and they have to stay near it, but that means they're right in the middle of heavy, heavy temptation.
Yeah.
So it's really tough. Okay, Wrinkle in Time, we love it. Family favorite, big time. Madeline Langle, read other stuff by her. See you next time.